the very, very few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.
And you're it too. You are the most important it. Okay, together we're going to seed what happens next. Today I have a very special treat for you. We are going to be going in. You know, the Dymaxion map is one of my obsessions. It's in the intro to this show. And I have a couple of the same ones, a little bigger now. But I want to talk to you about Ben Davidson, who's been doing work on sun weather for years and has predicted that we are doing a pole shift and that we're moving from where we are to where we're going to be. But, you know, it's going to be big time and it's coming up very rapidly. Like we are in a death spiral into the pole shift that's going to happen in our lifetime. So we want to be ready for this because what Ben likes to say is eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone. So, Ben, I want to say this to you directly, man. Oh, you inspired me. This particular video, we're going to rerun the video that you just did. And at the end of the video, you said, hey, come on and meet with me over at the ranch. And I can't wait to meet with you. And I literally called that morning and made a knee-jerk, reactionary plan to come visit. And, man, you know, Mother Earth had something else planned, and we got stuck in a bunch of snow, and we got a bunch of traffic, and it's every story you can imagine. Other things happened that were just as important as they always do. We never have a bad experience. We only have stuff to learn from. But what we're going to do is we're going to watch your last video on the pole shift. This is the most up-to-date pole shift video that I know of, and I love you, Ben, and I wanted to be there to tell you this. Now, what I really want is I want to start tracking the pole shift on the Dymaxion map, and I'll tell you more about that after we hear from you. So let's go halfway through the next video. Enjoy.
Good evening, folks. Tonight we're going over some things circulating on the internet this week. 2 things being said about the ongoing changes with Earth's magnetic field, and they are both very wrong. This is a rough cycle here on Earth. We are due for the next magnetic pole shift, and it's already happening. It's here. We're going to break down exactly why these new claims are wrong, and first, we'll hit the concept that the magnetic pole shift is slowing down. Yeah, like a bullet technically slows down slightly as it penetrates the skin. Does that comfort you? Didn't think so. And of course, what would a debunkeroni be on the magnetic pole shift without Captain Clueless trying to resurrect the powerfully debunked concept that modern magnetic field strength should be a comfort to you? Let's start with some visuals. We'll start with a visual about the magnetic field strength. Vertical axis on the left, time below on the bottom. Field strength is plummeting. Heck, we showed this at the start of the video, but it's not actually linear like this. It's actually staggering, oscillating. And while the trend is the excursion and its acceleration, if you happen to pick a year during one of those little up hitches, you could say the field weakening has slowed and give people false comfort. And there's a similar story with the motion of the magnetic poles. That is specifically what was claimed this week, that the motion of the magnetic poles has slowed down after having kicked in their shift and sped up and up. But again, it's not linear. It's like this. So if you select the right moment, you could say that the field shift just slowed down, and then everyone who listens to you thinks the wrong thing. Let's dive deeper with the graphical data on the north magnetic pole so you can see this in action. So let's take the motion from 1904 to 1948, 44 years to traverse across this circle. So let's see how long it takes to move that same distance by putting those circles side by side. Yeah, no, it's not perfect, but it is close enough. It was 44 years for the first jump, same distance, but only 42 years the next time. Then in 1998, a major acceleration occurred. That's where we went from 5% lost per century to 5% lost a decade. Same jump, but this time only 10 years. The next one, 9 years, then 7 years. And based on this forecast data, we don't actually have the real data because they haven't given it to us in updated form yet. Yes, this next one should hit the mark next year for a total of 10 years this time. So did it slow down? Maybe, according to this forecast, but that's not reality. And there is no easily linear way to look at this. Just look at the distance between the colored dots, which represent 1 year. Look how much speeding up and slowing down occurs, even after the official excursion accelerations began. So no, we don't actually have data telling us it has slowed down. They have forecasts slowing the last 3 reports, and it hasn't happened. And even if those weren't true, and we did slow down a bit, it's a bit. It happens because it's not a linear process. And right after every slowdown, we surge into another acceleration. Do you feel comforted? Yeah, me either. Quick shout out.
There you go. Yeah, I got to remember to turn stuff on again. Now, did you notice something, though, that's interesting? After all that movement, the pole is now almost exactly on top of the North Pole. If we go back to that one graphic, if you go back to the graphic with the all of the dots, see, look at that. So I just noticed, you see, this is where it was in 817 and like 1948. It had actually come over all this way in 1904. This is kind of where the pole, but look, it's now here, and this is actually true north. So let's continue to watch the video. But let's notice that what's happening is the pole is now moving the other way. Now, here's the other thing that he likes to talk about this. I think that he's going to talk about tsunami moving and how these things slosh up against. And that was one of the things that we picked up from listening to his last lecture. So I think, are we okay then, Renee, to run it from after the... Now, what he did is he had a gold commercial. And my own opinion about gold, since he brought it up, is you should maybe have a little, not too much. You can't eat it. You might be able to sell it, but in a crisis, you'll never get what you need for it. You know, it's better to have a bunch of $1 bills, a couple some small currency under the bed. You know, if you ask me. But that's my own opinion too. So now, moving forward, let's go ahead and watch the rest of the video.
Sorry for this. His recent video claims we are not in an excursion, and he knows that because of how strong the field of Earth is right now. It's about twice as strong as past periods known to have excursions. And I'll show the same graphic I showed all those years ago the first time MIT tried to pull that nonsense on the world. Yeah, guys, ignore the cycle and the pattern and the changes in the ionosphere and atmosphere and even the Earth rotation speed. We're still way up here. It's fine, right? Mr. Burns uses this graphic in his video. It is severely cherry-picked to show the field strengths that support his position. I've got about 50 papers I could show that don't tell that story so cleanly, but we are playing devil's advocate, so Mr. Burns, you will lead. Bottom panel is really his main point, the dips, where the purple arrows are pointing. That's the excursions he recognizes, and he says, look at how low those are. Today, which is at the far left side of the chart, pretty high. So what if we're declining faster and faster? We're still way up here. Need to get down to those purple arrows, he says. Can observers spot the first fatal flaw? Let me zoom in on the last 100,000 years. That is presumably Lechamp there about 40 to 50,000 years ago. So where the duck are the other ones? Does Burns think Lechamp was the only excursion of the last 100,000 years? Observers know better. Here is a list of the most well-studied ones from just the last 60,000 years. And observers, how many times have you seen me point out the unnamed one about 30,000 years ago and how Lechamp was actually 2 events, one at 48,000 years ago and then another at 42? So having one excursion show up in this very cherry-picked graph not only is factually wrong, but it collapses the premise that this chart tells us about the field strength indicators of excursions. It doesn't. And actually, those humps upward, they don't seem to last very long before dropping back out, do they? Look what we just had over on the left, the hump of the Levantine Iron Age anomaly, and we're heading back down. Heck, just look at the top panel, the blue line. That should show both the Gothenburg event 12,000 years ago and Tianqi 6,000 years ago. Does it really? Maybe a bit. Does it show them to the degree that you would point out a magnetic excursion? No. And that's the problem. Not only does this chart not show pre-excursion strength indications, none in existence do. And that is because it's not a thing. He made it up. MIT tried to pull that on us back in 2015, a decade ago. And it was only after I had made that fun little graphic to be funny and then broken down the details of why that science made absolutely no sense that some of the world's top geophysicists specializing in magnetic pole shifts then published a paper saying that pre-reversal or excursion strength doesn't matter. It's not related to the interval time. Whether it's strong or weak, doesn't matter. When it's time, it's time. And by the way, right now, it's time. Between papers saying the next acceleration could take us to 100 times faster than the current shift, and others suggesting this can happen in a human lifetime, this topic is not something to be so cavalier and incautious with, Mr. Burns. And if you need help with the cycle, the past events, or the evidence of this event happening now from the core of Earth all the way out past Pluto, just let me know. For the rest of you, I'll see you in the morning for the Daily Show. And be safe, everyone.
Yeah, there, boom. Wow. So what we're on to is, again, somebody who's really, I don't know. Is there a pole shift coming? I'm pretty sure. Feels like it. It's kind of, so that's been kind of what we're focused on. And now if we go back over to the and we look at that chart, that last chart you put up, that's kind of moving up. You see, it's never really starts there, but it's drifting off into about here, right down into that corner. If that chart is accurate. See, and in the north, we're actually been scraping around a little bit, and it's actually back to almost zero. So we're gonna find out in the next, I don't know how long we're gonna wait. But he says that around 2035 is when we should be ready for this actuality to occur. But I tell you, I'm feeling a little bit more, hopeful, honestly, that things are kind of where they're supposed to be. What do you think, Renee?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too after seeing that. So that was very, very helpful.
That's interesting. I mean, he's okay. Like, you got to love Ben Davidson.
Yeah.
But when we look at it on our map, when we actually do the research, it's not necessarily as frightening. Now, so we have the poles, pretty much North Pole, and this other one is creeping to the north. And that's what's, setting the alarm bells off. Anyway, well, this is what's happening on your little spaceship Earth. What do you think of that? If you like it, give me a like in the comment section. And what else happened this last week? Oh, my goodness, the upheaval. Oh, my goodness, Chuck Schumer. What happened to Chuck Schumer? And does that mean Klobuchar also voted with the Republicans to, allow these thieves to continue to run our government into the ground? What do you think of that?
So what's going on with the Democrats just laying over, playing dead? What do you think is going on? Are they bought off? Are they terrified? It's like everyone is just coming to the dark side or not doing anything, not saying anything. Where is the courage? Is it cowardice that we're encountering, or is it bribery? What do you think is going on? It's a mystery to me.
It's a mystery because, I guess what happened is we had our chance, and we had an election that was stolen and another lie that's been put on the people and swallowed up by all the media. That, you showed the graphic of the red media dominating the landscape. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, well, what are we going to do about it? And I don't think there's anything we can do about it.
Are
I would
you
go to
sure
my
there's nothing
dad,
we can do?
my
There's well,
dad.
we're doing something right now though.
I would go to my all-powerful dad and I'd say, "What can we do?" And he's like, "Nothing you can do, man. You have
But
all the levers of power. What can we do about this? How can we?" Well, he says, the rich people got to pay more taxes. When I was, we're not paying enough taxes. We stopped paying taxes with this whole Reaganomics, and it's
mhm.
completely started. That's kind of like the erosion of the country from there. And then, of course, in Reaganomics, it was another thing where these people were not. I mean, gerrymandering is part of the deal. A different kind of gerrymandering, but I think not necessarily. I think this whole, like, what is it called? Something Incorporated, like Murder Incorporated. No, it's called. What's this whole Greg Palast? What's his book called?
Oh, Greg Palast. Yeah, well, he just had a documentary about, yes, it's about the gun-toting Trumpers. I'll look that up
No, no,
right
no,
now.
no, no, no. Stop that. Okay, honey, I love you. You're the best. You
Okay.
know how much I love you.
Yes.
Nothing about gun-toting Trumpers, although they are there too. It's more
Okay.
about the vote suppression
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. Vote suppression.
Black people, okay, and in this very elaborate scheme to disallow voters.
Vigilantes Incorporated.
That's right, Vigilante
Okay.
Inc. Vigilante
Yes.
is a sly word for KKK.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you for saying that because that is
Vigilantes are
true.
KKK. This Vigilante Incorporated is KKK. Anything vigilante is like it's again, it's this double speak.
Yep.
Double speak. It's like you saying what you say, but you mean another thing. And you speak shit. You just speak lies. You always peddle a lie. So anyway, Greg Palast, but this is not the first time. This happened with Gore. This happened with Hillary. Same thing. Everybody, anytime a Democrat lost, it's because they finally were able to steal enough votes to make it happen. Okay. So then that's what's going on. So what is going on? What else is going on? Like you said, like what else was that part? You said that same question. Let's go back over that.
Well, there's the Ukraine. Do you want to talk about Ukraine? What's
Well, I
going
mean
on?
that whole thing too. So we basically switched over to become Russian. We're part of the
Right.
Russian thing. Our president is completely insane. We're getting finally what's come home to roost. We had 48 years of kind of slow, no real slow and steady growth. And I got to say, my dad is in that category of people who made that happen by creating a business model, that is very slow and steady and just makes money in whatever environment. And this is what, the BlackRock industry has taken over and created, more about. So I'm about to do some lighting with Damon. We're going to do some dancing over there at the tent. So you might want to stick around. I could bring you out there. We're all plugged in. We're all ready to go.
All right. Okay.
So I'm going to do some drumming. I think I left my drum kit out there. I know I did. So I think we're going to jam a little bit.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Maybe Rudy will come and play with us. I don't know. These guys come to jam late. So, but I'm really not going to go very long because I really just want to pack my stuff up and go.
All right. Well, let's let everyone know that they should like and comment and share and subscribe to all of this, and also thank Ben Davidson for the work that he's doing.
Thanks,
And
Ben, for everything. We are on it, and the sun weather news, it's just so cool. But, basically at the end of the day, we just need these 5 things. I'm not quite sure if I care about your politics so much as I care about the fact that we all have a place to sleep tonight, that we have good food and clean water, so we can have the energy to study sun weather news and listen to suspicious observers. So it's going to be fun. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Keep coming back and have a great week.
getting this messy.